Stories from the Stars, the Pleiadian Message. Hello everyone, my name is Stephanie. Welcome back to the Steph Full Moon channel. Before we get into the story here, I just want to give you a bit of a background about me so that you can get to know me a little bit better. My name is Stephanie, and this Steph Full Moon channel I would say is dedicated to topics around spirituality, astral projection, fitness, beauty, and fashion. So I think that most of my contents will be related to these type of topics. And you will also be seeing me doing different other type of topics that's a bit more fringe under the sun as well, I think, into the future. So a bit of about me is that I live in Canada. I kind of don't really like to talk about where I live exactly because it's a bit weird to talk about, yourself. And for me, I would say that I am a pretty normal person living on this planet called Earth. And I spent half of my childhood actually growing up in mainland China before we emigrated to Canada. So now you know that I live in Canada. The society, I would say, itself there in mainland China when I was growing up there is focused more on logic and hard sciences. And both of my parents in engineering, following my grandparents' footsteps of being engineering and the hard sciences. And I would say the family itself is very logic orientated. And just like the society in Asia, most people are more logic orientated. And we don't really speak openly about spirituality and things of that nature. So I would say for my parents and my family, in terms of spirituality, you'll probably be the most closest thing to spirituality would be asking them and my grandparents to tell me stories about, different paranormal or ghost stories that's out there. That as a child I would find is very interesting, etc. And growing up in, the first half of my life in mainland China, I would say that as a child, you just go to school and stuff. You kind of know the scientific facts that we live in Asia, the largest continent on planet Earth, right? In this blue planet called Earth. And this Earth is the third planet orbiting the sun in the Orion arm of the Milky Way galaxy. And one of the interesting facts here is that the Milky Way galaxy in English, when translated into Chinese, is called Silver River. And the reason why the Milky Way galaxy is called Silver River in Chinese is that when you look up at the sky, the Milky Way galaxy look like a silver river, right? So in Chinese, we call the galaxy Silver River. And as a child, I remember as young as around 3 to 4 years old, I know that I live on a planet that's called Earth, and we're floating somewhere in a galaxy called the Milky Way, Silver River. So even though I have great parents who are very loving and I live a very sheltered and pampered life, as a young child, I shouldn't, it doesn't, from outside looking in, right? I shouldn't have any worries or discontentment, right? But I was, as a kid, I was just not happy about this world and the condition that we have here. And I think because I was a young child, I just don't have any of the languages to be able to verbalize how I feel. And I did not really know how to talk to my parents about it and about the world that we live in. So I will get very emotional and I will cry myself to sleep with my teddy bear at night and thinking about if we're alone in the universe and why am I here on this planet. I will also look up at the stars, the infinite amount of stars at night sky, and sometimes point to my parents. Oh, look at all these stars that's above us. Aren't they beautiful? And I would just think to myself, but why aren't there anyone that's out there? It just doesn't really make sense to me. at all that we could be alone. And what is the beginning and the end of the universe, and what's beyond that? And what if our existence on this planet just ceased to exist? Like all our stories would just be gone. Like what does that even mean, right? And what does it even mean to be a human, being a human child, living, breathing, and living on this planet? So thinking about all that, all those existential questions, as a child and as like anyone else would, your mind just will be turned into this pretzel as you're trying to really think about this and trying to really figure things out as a kid. And I also remember clearly many times when I was visiting my grandparents, my maternal grandparents to be exact, during the summer school breaks. I will wake up very early in the morning, like 6 a.m. in the morning. And then we would go to the city parks and climb up the limestone mountains in the city and seeing the sunrise over the city and overlooking the river. So it was very beautiful. And you just feel a certain special nostalgia with a hint of sadness in there. Because you just know that sun you're looking at, overlooking the river and overlooking the city, is one of the many in this galaxy. And I would say that the hint of sadness comes from the fact that when you look up at the sun and you look at the beautiful scenery, and then you turn to look at your grandparents, you just know that you can't be with them forever and that they are getting older. And many of these beautiful moments will just be memories when you grow up. And at that moment in time, you just know that you want to be able to treasure these beautiful moments forever. So I would say that I was living with that sad, nostalgic feeling of not knowing the truth about life. Why am I on this earth? Why can we not travel to other planets? And how come no one seemed to even care or want to talk about it? And as I started to go to school more, you're becoming more preoccupied with school life, with other extracurricular activities, whether it's in school or after school, so you just become more busy. But I would say that these feelings for me are never really erased, and it's just more internalized. But as I get older, these type of feelings become even more stronger. The cosmos is a huge place, probably immeasurable, reaching infinity in scale. Maybe there is an end to this cosmos and something beyond that, but we still don't really have the facts to really back things up. So I believe it's very arrogant to think that we're the only one in this vast space. Until you had your own experiences, everything you hear here would just be like a dream, like a story. And I'm not here to prove anything or whether or not that this is just made up by my own imaginations, my dreams. But I think that the universe and the beyond is probably more mysterious than we will ever know, and that this is a never-ending story. So as you watch your TV, movies, or using your computer, watching that story in that metal box of yours, you might actually be in a real life that's even more stranger than fiction story, and that's currently being played out in the cosmos. At the end of the day, nothing matters and everything matters. So this is indeed a very convoluted universe that we live in. And for me, I can't wait for the day till we learn a little bit more of that truth. So I say to the universe with a pure and open heart, I am ready for a little bit more of the universal truth. Please take care of me, the universe and beyond, the one with no name and the one with many names. So who are the Pleiadians, you're probably wondering? Right now you can actually type in the search query and just search this up in the Google search engines, and you will see many informations and articles pop up about who are the Pleiadians, from people's contact experiences, meditation experience, astral projections, etc. So the Pleiadians are said to be from an open star cluster located about 410 light years from Earth in the constellation of Taurus. The Pleiades Star Cluster, also known as Seven Sisters or M45, is visible from virtually every part of the globe. So the Pleiadians are said to have a distinct Nordic or Scandinavian appearance with a lifespan of around 700 to 3,000 years old. They are said to be more emotional and spiritually developed than Earth humans. And now, because the Pleiades are a place with many stars, there could be many planetary civilizations there. So because they look very similar to humans, they can also be walking through the streets of the human society, going undetected. So for me, when I look at this type of information, I'm like, whoa, that's pretty cool, because I never really once saw that people on other planets or dimension could look kind of similar to us, but never say never, right? It might actually be the other way around, as in the many ancient sacred texts, it is said that we are created in their image. So it's not really they look like us, it might be we look like them. So that's kind of the funny part here. And for the Pleiadians, they're also described to be very artistic, so they love music, arts, and the sciences. They're also very curious people, so they love exploring new worlds and seeing different type of life forms. And their world definitely will seem like an utopia when we are visiting from the perspective of a Earth human. And their society is very heart-centered, so with a lot of heartfelt energies, emotions, and they're very warm when you first meet them. Now, before I had this experience, and from my Earth conditioning, I thought that majority of the extraterrestrials would just be other life forms and look very different from that of humans. But it could turn out be the fact that the most common life form could be of the human prototype, looking very similar to people on this planet. And in actuality, our human physical vessel are based off of the extraterrestrials. So essentially, we're built and made in their image and not the other way around. Please note, I'm not psychic or medium. This information here and these stories are based on my astral, dreamlike, some would say some type of trance-like experience. Many of the details here in this experience cannot be described using words, and many of the specific information here are not 100% retained afterward. So the information from these experiences will always be written down afterwards so that I can have and try to remember all the details. This happened around 2016, so 4 years ago, where I managed to get myself into a trance-like state inside my dream. I would say that in that state of being, I was neither scared nor anxious, but in fact, it was very relaxing. Your mind was very clear and very calm. And you can see that your brain and your mind is very focused and everything is extremely clear. So inside that dream, I see my twin sister practicing telepathic communications with the Pleiadian Council. And I was very interested in that. I was like, I want to do that too. So I put myself and lie down on a reclining chair or bed. I would say that my eyes are open, and it somehow took a while. I started to see images flash across or inside my brain with different planets, and it looks like it's from the pages of an encyclopedia book. So in that book, you see different planets flashing across inside your brain. And then all of a sudden, in my mind's eye, and when I went into this bright white light, very warm place. And because my eyes are open, I'm only able to see outlines, lights, and shadows. Since it either looks like it was too bright and blinding, or that my eyes have been covered by a veil of some sort to prevent me from seeing everything clearly. And while I was sitting there on this bed or this reclining chair, I was super concentrated on hearing this beautiful, ethereal, classic trance type of music that was playing in the background environment. I was super focused on this music and humming to the beats and the melodies because it was playing directly inside my head, and the background was full of this type of music. Now, as I was listening to this music, there was this person with long shoulder-length hair. I think it's female because you have a very feminine energy and you have a human-like appearance. And she is communicating with me telepathically. And I was able to hear very clearly what she was saying while this ethereal classical music plays in the background environment. Again, I was able to hear very clearly on what she was saying to me because she was directly inside my head and the communications was very clear. So I intrinsically know that this is an extraterrestrial human-looking lady from the Pleiades who was communicating with me. And don't really ask me how I know, I just know. This is like a knowing that you just, an inner knowing. When you know, you just know. So I understand everything she was saying to me because I was listening very carefully and I was nodding. And the communications she had with me was very clear. It was about love. And during the communication, I was thinking the exact message should be pretty easy to remember since it was very clear it was about love, etc. Now the music was playing in the background, very soothing, with everything that was going on. And that went on for a while. And afterward, I woke up from that type of state. Okay, and I was like, the important message, I gotta write this down. She said this and that. But, after you just woke up, I just can't remember the exact words and phrase since I was trying to really hard to write everything down which I experienced, and I was trying to remember the message that she was talking about. I remember it was about love. That's the theme of the message. But as I was trying to recall the exact words that she used and the exact phrase, I couldn't remember a thing. And what is very interesting about this experience is that the beautiful music that's playing inside your head comes from somewhere in the background. And I think that this music is really used to relax and smooth my body. And with the telepathic communication, when you have that experience, you will be directly inside your head and you can hear the voice very loud and clear. So there is no need for them to move their vocal cords. And another thing is that in that state of being, you just intrinsically know. If you know that there's a presence there, for example, if you feel like there's a feminine energy, a female entity, you just know. And if you know that they are from the Pleiades, you also just know. It's like a feeling that you don't really need to ask where they're from or who they are. You just get the feeling, understanding that the people you're in communication are from this direction, the cosmos, and they're known as the Pleiadians to the Earth humans right now. And because I was so interested in the information and the message, because I don't have the exact words written down, I just know that the message was about love, I also reached out to a very trusted, renowned psychic in the spiritual age community and to acquire the further detailed information here. So the psychic said that this is indeed a person with long hair, and he was female, and he was human-like in appearance. And that I feel that this is someone from the star system of the Pleiades. And she would communicate with you telepathically. She was very clear in the things. She was trying to relax you because there were things that was happening to you, and that she was trying to really soothe everything within your body. You said that you were humming to the beat and the notes of the music. She was relaxing you. She was really trying to adjust your DNA because of the reptilian part of it that have been put into your body, because of the experience that you have experienced on the volcano planet. And it was very interesting that you said you can remember the message clearly, but you remember it was about love. So the person who was communicating with you was somebody from the Pleiades, and she was healing you. She was taking out the reptilian part of your DNA. She was soothing you, and she was preparing you for your journey ahead. I think this is really good. But she was also telling you, even though you come against or come across entities that are really different from you, even the reptilians, that if you give out the message of love, it will keep you safe. And that you will find somebody who will be attuned to your DNA, who will actually love you unconditionally, and that later on, you will have a happy life together on this planet. Because it is important that you stay here and that you do record your experiences. Because I think that they want to tell you that there are other aliens, entities, otherworldly beings who know that the things you have to experience have not been good. But I think they also said to you that they will be sending somebody from your home planet to come to you and to show you that love is very important, and that you are in love with this world, and that you are loved far more than you would ever know.